We're back, people, and today we're going to film on the Miami Dolphins defense versus the Broncos. They looked pretty solid again, definitely showing signs of improvement since that week one. Things you like to see. They didn't have to do anything too crazy. They were creating turnovers, but when your offense puts up 70, it's pretty smooth sailing. They only gave up 13 total points from the offense for the Broncos, and I actually don't think the Broncos offense looked that bad. The Dolphins defense just showed up when it mattered most. Now they're going to have to be better next week going into the Bills. There's some things they got to clean up, specifically versus like crossers and things like that, but the run defense continues to look better. Maybe some tackling issues here and there. Dolphins out here, they did something different this game. They benched Eli Apple, had Kohu playing outside corner, did not put the nickel. Bethel was the nickel, and then Perry Nickerson was the dime. So they come out on dime, playing cover 3 on the third, and Kohu matching Sutton right here one-on-one, just on a vertical plane. Very impressive. Sutton's a good vertical threat. Kohu, he has a huge size advantage. He squeezes him to the sideline, plays through the hands to, make him juggle and then get out of bounds. Force, them to go 3 and out just right off the rip. Very nice to see from this defense. Going to be exciting, I think, when they get Jalen Ramsey back, because while Kohu looked good on the outside, and I'll probably do a video just specifically on Kohu, just him on the outside, because it's something different that we've seen from him. I still think, his best position is down in the slot. It's just nice to see that he can make an impact in multiple different areas for this team. Dolphins come out in nickel, and this is, in Fangio terms, this is called tricks. Cover 8. They're playing cover 8 tricks, and all you really need to know, which is like the slight variation from like normal cover 8, is what Holland's responsibility is. See with how this quarters, he's on the backside of 3x1. Depending on the quarters call, he could just be a pure quarters defender. He can be helping to this side with the X receiver. Usually he's right here finding the number 3 working across the field. So he's just supposed to take away the number 3 and almost become like a robber towards the middle instead of a pure quarters defender. And he's going to do that. And then Howard's man everywhere you go. Like, he's man-to-man in this concept. And once Sutton works across on the drag, he's trying to man him up. But based on his alignment pre-snap, it's tough for him to get there. Holland's able to still recognize this, even though that's not his responsibility. Close, see this great range, takes a great angle. And then his, just instincts, football intelligence, and ball skills to knock these fumbles out were super, super impressive. While the Broncos didn't run the ball that much because, they're getting blown out, so there wasn't too much of a sample size, and there was a couple of runs they had that were pretty nice. Overall, liked what I saw from the Dolphins, just gap discipline, everything looked better from pretty much everyone up front. They really improved, everyone filling into their gaps, and everyone getting in control. Wilkins getting control of his guy. Davis anchoring versus that double team. Sealer in complete control of his gap. And then you have the freedom for Baker and Long here where no O-linemen come to them at the second level. So they just got to be gap discipline. Fill this gap right here. There's reading 45 pulling through. Baker goes to the outside. Long refills into this gap. Everyone just does their job. And you limit that to, only a 3-yard gain and strong tackle at the point of attack. So everyone just up front doing their gap responsibilities. Such a big improvement from that week 1 game. Dolphins look like they go quads here, quarters, down in the red zone. They haven't done a lot of quarters, actually. They've done a lot of cover 6, cover 8, so they have a mix of quarters out there, but it looks like they go pure quarters. Deshaun Elliott has looked really solid on the back end as the starter. Now, we got to actually see some Brandon Jones. I'm only breaking down the starters because towards the end of the game, it was pretty much pointless, just garbage time type of plays. But I did like what I saw from some of the backup defenders. They looked comfortable. Brandon Jones looked like he was up to full speed, so nice to have 3 safety options. But Elliot has looked nice, comfortable in this scheme, while Holland has played like one of the best safeties in the NFL. He's just reading this. The number 2 that pushes up vertically into his 1/4 right here. He matches it. Footwork, read the route break, and then make a play right at the point of attack. Nice hook and swat technique to finish. Those are, the plays that you like to see out of your safeties. They unfortunately give up a touchdown on the scramble drill on third down, 3rd and 6, I believe. Yeah, just allowing Russell to escape the pocket. It's, X gives up this touchdown. He basically matched up versus Sutton here. It's a tough ass to ask your guy to guard him for this long. He does a good job on the initial route. If he threw the dig here, he's ready to make this break. They do end up having a miscommunication here at the bottom because this guy comes free. But once Russ is able to escape the pocket, they were able to at least pressure him, but sometimes you got to be able to finish or, get the pressure and force the bad throw, not allowing him to escape. Because if you get the pressure and force him to throw while being hit, then it's much less likely he completes this when he has that much time to escape and make those throws. That's where you have the issues. I love seeing this Dolphins team bring pressure. It's not always done by Fangio, but I feel like ever since that week 1 game, he saw how well it worked, so he started bringing it more and more each game. And you can just see great play by Bradley Chubb, first of all, and then Wilkins being a heads up right there. And, they're sliding to the right off this play action. So Chubb instantly takes this space right here. So this tight end recognizes, he has the split zone working across, and he just beats him to the inside. That's some good quickness. Ko also coming off the edge on the blitz. And when you have everyone, sliding this way, they get their hands up. Wilkins comes in the throwing lane to take away the flat route. Just very heads-up football by the defensive line. Love to see them getting involved, understanding these concepts very well. Dolphins do give up a long shot here. Broncos running play action, max protect with a 2-man route concept down the field. And they try to, they attack this coverage pretty well. Dolphins come out playing, cover 2 to the top here. Elliot's a deep half safety, Ko's a flat, and they're playing quarters to the bottom. Holland is this quarters defender. And it's actually a smart play by Holland here to get back over to this post. Like, he's sort of bracketing this receiver, and once he sees him work outside towards Howard, he knows he can match, and Holland just gets back. This is really good instincts and anticipation here. And Elliot is staying over the top and is in a pretty good spot as well. And Wilson, for where he throws it, he underthrows it, and I just think Holland misreads it, because if he reads this correctly and doesn't float a little bit too far, he could easily make a play at the catch point. Just takes a little bit of a bad angle, tough ask for him to get there. I like the initial part of the play for him to even get himself involved. But just, these little things can't get beat too deep. They've been pretty good at stopping these types of plays through the first 3 weeks, so just can't allow this to become an issue down the road. Van Ginkel played really good again. They're trying to motion this out, make this look like it's going to be screened to this side, then bring it back here. Van Ginkel recognizes this. I think he must have seen something on film, because he knew this was coming. At him engage with this tight end initially. He felt the screen the whole way. He gets engaged and was already reading it before the tight end even started to move out of it. Look at him pull up right here. Once he makes contact with this tight end, he's already starting to pull up before this guy even disengages, and just holds onto the screen the whole time. He felt it coming. Just really smart football. Reading Russell here back to turn around, knew the whole play was coming that entire time. Good. And everyone else was there to help out, but just shut down by AVG alone on that one. Love to see them shutting down a run for a 3-yard loss on 2nd and 14, where they're playing split field safeties, so they have less players in the box. Everyone comes down to get involved. Good job by Wilkins there, spilling outside to help, and then Van Ginkel closing. Also Bethel. Look at them closing some space here. Van Ginkel right here, Bethel right here. They see this bouncing to the outside. Both players showing off that athleticism in their range. They're both very athletic players. Nice to see them, out there being impactful. Van Ginkel doing it from an off-ball position, sort of slight, almost down, like he's going to be an edge, but then off-ball, match this guy, see that it's a run, beat that guy at the point of attack, use your length, and then just pure speed and range to get out there. Love to see all these different ways that Van Ginkel gets used. It's just, when he has to play as a pure inside linebacker, I think all the time, he'll struggle for some run concepts. But when you allow him to play in space, rush the passer, be more a guy that can just run and chase out to the edge, then, that's where he's going to be excelling. Dolphins did struggle with some crossers in this game. They just kind of got to distribute this a little bit better. They're playing quarters at the top of the screen. They're playing cover 6 at the bottom. A couple guys probably could have been in better position to limit this. Just things you got to distribute here. More pay attention to these 3 right here with Baker, Van Ginkel. Van Ginkel is, these are the 2 hook defenders to this side. Van Ginkel kind of gets turned up. He opens his hips right here, which he probably shouldn't have done. He should have gained a little bit of depth. And then once he works back to the inside, pass this off to Baker. And then once this passes Baker's face, it should pass off to Van Ginkel. And then also, Howard is still the flat defender to this side of the field. So if he comes far enough across, Howard gains a lot of depth here to try to match this number 1 working deep down the field. Just so, if in case he sits right there. So it just creates a lot of space. Just things you got to just distribute a little bit better on the back end from the, second level underneath 4 guys. But they do respond pretty nicely the next play. Dolphins go into, another deep thirds. They try to hit a double move on Kohu. Elliot also does a good job getting over the top, reading the QB's eyes. It's just good instincts, good DB play by both players. Love Kohu's patience. Even though he gets opened up a little bit, he's still able to get back, run stride for stride, mirror and match. Elliot's reading it the whole way, cheating to this side of the field, and they go up, make a play at the catch point, disrupt that. Nice to see them making some adjustments, not allowing those deep balls down the field. But then they get got by the mesh point again, this time in cover 3. He just gets lost. I think this one, to me, looks like they're matching everyone up here correctly. So Dolphins come out in 3. Van Ginkel is the flat defender, so he goes out to the running back here, which makes sense. It looks like Holland and Howard. Holland thinks that this tight end, he's just going to match him across, but the number 1 on the outside should become the number 2 right away. So Holland should try to get down and match this quickly, and it just goes underneath at the mesh point, because Howard could have taken this guy vertically on this plane. He has no chance to help on the mash, and they both end up covering him, and he just becomes wide open. And those things will happen when you're running a zone match defense sometimes. You'll think, if they line up in a bunch, things can get a little confusing. It's, usually at, like, zone match is sort of like what everyone's running nowadays, so you can basically play a mixture of man and zone, just depending on what formations you're getting and what exact variation of the coverage you're calling. But yeah, that's just, sometimes that play will happen. It's something they got to get cleaned up for sure. I think that's like the biggest thing, from the biggest negative takeaway that they can work on from this weekend. But they do a really good job of responding. 3rd and 4th situation, Bethel just recognizes the screen. It looks like they're a man-to-man across the board, and he just instantly recognizes get down. He was making some nice tackles for loss, getting involved. Like to see him in the nickel. Might do a video just specifically on Bethel this week, just to see how he specifically played, because he was basically the full-time. I think he played the most defensive snaps in this one, because he played a little bit with the backup unit too, because they don't have that many bodies out there to play, but I think he played more snaps than any single defender on this team past Sunday. The run defense looked so much better, just everything causing chaos here. The defensive line spilling, and then the outside guys, the Bethel, who's like the overhang defender, getting downhill, forcing this back. Good job staying square. He fills up into this, takes on a block with his right shoulder. This is good technique. Doesn't want to allow the back to get outside of him. Everyone else sort of bounces it out this way with all this chaos right there in the middle. Just very good work from Wilkins, again, penetrating and helping create that disruption in the backfield. And this was the Baker and Long play. They both shot a gap at the same time and met the running back in the backfield on a 3rd and 3 for another 2-yard loss. That play before was a 2nd and 1, and they had that exact play happen. So just very excellent football play. We'll look at this. These two guys get double teamed up front. Van Ginkel sets the edge. Long sees this gap open up, takes that opportunity. Baker as well, and they both just cut right back. He cuts right back into the middle of both of them, so really, really high-level play by those two players. Last play that we're going to break down, this was the basically Holland fumble that sealed it, just another miscommunication. Basically the same thing that happened on the earlier play, the drag underneath, where two guys end up guarding the number 1 in the stacked alignment again. So as you'll see right here, or the number 2 and the number 1 works underneath of it. So the other number 2 works up and number 1 takes that inside free release, and then Bethel matches it. I think Bethel has to switch this off and take the new number 2 on this. And then because Kohu has no chance to make a play on this drag from his pre-snap positioning, those are things you just got to get cleaned up. It seemed like everyone sort of made that mistake, but then Holland. He gets beat there for a second and then comes right back. Instincts, ball skills, like those are ball skills. I know people will think of interceptions, but this is just very, very good football play for a safety. The things that he is doing, creating these turnovers, love to see it because he's one of the best players on this team. So if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and let's get it.